Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Wright Park. We're so glad you could all join us this evening for another Cowboy Band concert this summer. This is the band's 147th season, and we're excited to also celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary all summer long. My name is Jacob Miller, director and MC for the band, and the musicians and I thank you for being here and hope you can join us here at Wright Park every Tuesday this summer through the end of July. And now we ask that you please rise as you're able and direct your attention off to your left towards our beautiful American flag as we play our country's national anthem, followed by a cowboy band tradition with the playing of our state song, Home on the Range. We're so glad that the sun is shining and there's a nice cool breeze as of now compared to a half hour ago, and that we're able to have tonight's concert. We're really sad that we had to miss out on last week, but that would have been kind of a disaster if we didn't make the call we did. So thankfully the nearby storm is far enough away and we're all here and able to enjoy this. We'll begin tonight's concert with a bold opening piece titled Zeal, which features our low woodwinds and low brass. Zeal is simply defined as great energy in pursuit of a cause or objective. You'll notice the piece starts and ends the same way in the time signature of 6/8, which demonstrates a marching and driving style. However, there is a change in character in the middle with a short lyrical section. We hope you enjoy Zeal by composer Matt Conaway. We enjoy that one. It's very lively. Up next, we have a little mix of liveliness and a lot more calm in the next piece. It's extremely special to us as it was a commissioned piece for our Cowboy band written by former band member, conductor, and current music educator and composer, Dr. Paul Morelli. We're all very appreciative to supporter Randy Allen for his donation to the band so that this commissioned piece was made possible 2 years ago. The title of the piece, Band of the Land, comes from a newspaper article in the 4th County Globe, June 27, 1882. And the article reads, Alderman C.M. Beeson, or rather Chalk, as we all know him after years of trials, has at last succeeded in organizing a brass band, and we claim it as the Band of the Land, of which Dodge may justly be proud. They perform every evening in front of the Long Branch and Opera House balcony, and crowds gather to hear them. The piece changes tempo throughout and features haunting melodies in minor keys as well as more lively sections with a Western flair. Here is our Band of the Land for the Dodge City Cowboy Band. And next up, we have an incredible salute to America, and it was arranged by composer Chris Sharp that provides a thorough musical history of the United States, featuring a multitude of well-known tunes in a musical anthology, including God Save the Queen, Chester, Hail Columbia, Columbia, Gem of the Ocean, Shenandoah, When Johnny Comes Marching Home, The Battle Cry of Freedom, Over There, and more. The grand finale features the beloved anthem, America the Beautiful. This is Americana at its best. And now we present an American Spectacular. Next, we would like to perform for you all a Spanish march, better known as a Paso Doble, by composer Jorge Vargas. Mr. Vargas is the band director at Memorial Junior High in Eagle Pass, Texas. He composes for concert band, marching band, string orchestra, and even mariachi ensembles. This piece is titled Luz y Sombra, which translates to light and shadow, or light and shade. You'll hear many contrasts in soft and loud dynamics, as well as major and minor tonalities in this work. We hope you enjoy Luz y Sombra. And next up, we'd like to take you on a journey to southwest Germany, of all places, to a landscape known as Schwarzwald. Anybody know what that is? Southwest corner, neighboring France. Schwarzwald is also known as the Black Forest. This is the legendary setting for numerous Brothers Grimm fairy tales, as well as the birthplace of cuckoo clocks. Sadly, we actually won't be using any cuckoo clocks to accompany the band tonight. Kind of disappointed. I couldn't find one in Dodge. And now it's time for an adventure with the Black Forest Overture by Michael Sweeney. We hope you enjoy. And now we've arrived to one of the most exciting parts of the night, our Children's March. So any kids in the audience, we invite you to come forward and join Miss Haley, who plays the bari sax, and she's going to take you around all over the park and up here on stage at the end. You get to wave an American flag. Thank you. I see lots of takers. That's wonderful. Any other kids on this side? Come on down. Don't be shy. There's plenty of flags. You also get to keep the flag at the end of the concert to take with you. So enjoy. You'll see Miss Haley right here. Excellent turnout, kids. Thank you for being here. And now the band will play a patriotic march loved by community band musicians and audiences all across the United States. Here is a program note by band conductor Frederick Fennell about the march, Americans We, composed by the prolific Henry Fillmore, who was a Cincinnati native who lived from 1881 to 1956. Americans We, first published in 1929, is as happy a piece of music as I know. Fillmore dedicated it to all of us, and he meant it. It forms 1/3 of that great triad of marches that are the basis of our patriotic inspiration in this positive and traditional source of such an elusive personal ingredient. The three marches are, of course, Fillmore's Americans We, Bagley's National Emblem March, and Sousa's The Stars and Stripes Forever. Americans We teams with his other great march, his Honor March, to represent Henry Fillmore to all of those people he so sincerely wished to make happy with his music. And his highest on his list of those Americans whom he wished to reach with his old-fashioned patriotism are the never-ending thousands of young high school band musicians all over the Republic who are its ever-developing present and future. I believe the kids are ready in line, so here is Henry Fillmore's Americans We. Great job, kids. Did a wonderful job covering lots of ground. Hang on to those flags, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, we're gonna go down. Oh, no, come this way, come this way.
While the kids are making their way back to their benches, we'd like to do our weekly distance contest. So if you are traveling and you're not a Dodge City or Ford County resident and you happen to be in town with us for our concert, we would love to recognize you and find out where you're from, because lots of us are traveling this time of year. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that is, let's say, a Kansas resident but not in Ford County? Anyone in Kansas? Raise your hand. I see several. Is this one group back here all together? Wonderful. Where are you folks from? Cimarron. That's awesome. Welcome to the great Old West of Dodge City. All right. Wonderful. Now, do we have anyone else right over here? Fowler. Wonderful. I'll be going there soon for a 5K. That's exciting. And is there anyone, I think we covered everyone that's from Kansas. Oh, one more. Mulvane, that's wonderful. I played Mulvane in sports growing up. I'm a Valley Center, I grew up in Valley Center, so I know Mulvane pretty well. That's excellent. First Mulvane in a while. Is there anyone that's from, oh, we have even more still? Okay, wonderful. Right back here? Garden City, welcome. That's awesome. You guys get to catch any of their community concerts? They go every Friday night, so it's nice that they alternate with us. We're Tuesday, they're Friday. And then do we have anyone that's from out of state, perhaps? Anyone that's here from out of state traveling? Ooh, one right here? Where are you from, bud? Oh, Colorado. What? I didn't catch the town, but in Colorado somewhere? Burlington, wonderful, man. That's awesome. Thank you for coming. Wonderful. That's an awesome out-of-town turnout for tonight's concert. So welcome all. We hope you can catch us again another time. We're going to move on and play another piece for you. The shores of the Great Lakes are infamous for their intense storms. This next piece attempts to paint a musical portrait of the beautiful lake shore before and during one of these events. Here is Storm Warning by Robert Sheldon. Our next piece doesn't have a unique story behind it, and it wasn't necessarily written to depict a specific event, but it's just a really nice sounding overture. It has an exciting and adventurous theme in the opening and ending, which makes me think of this time of year when many of us are traveling. And the much slower and calm middle section of the piece makes me think of when we've reached our destination and we can have time to relax and slow down a bit. We hope you enjoyed this piece by composer Ed Huckabee, titled Bridgeview, Overture for Band. We have just a couple more pieces for y'all in this concert. The next one is a, and I quote, sea shanty rhapsody. Even though we live in Kansas, you'll probably still recognize these catchy melodies throughout. The sea shanty is a genre of traditional folk song that was once commonly sung as a work song to accompany rhythmical labor aboard large merchant sailing vessels. Today, the term generally refers to any kind of maritime work song. Recently, sea shanties have enjoyed a tremendous increase in interest and popularity outside of the maritime world. Songs of the Sea is a setting for a band of 4 of the best-known sea shanties: The Drunken Sailor, The Bonnie Ship the Diamond, Rolling Down to Old Maui, and finally the popular New Zealand folk song, Wellerman. Composed by director of bands at Auburn University, Johnny Vincent, here is Songs of the Sea, a sea shanty rhapsody. Well, thank you so much again for being here tonight. We're so glad that we were able to have another concert. This is just our second one of the summer, and there's lots more events for us to look forward to, including Tuesday nights. In case you've missed the announcements around town and on social media, this coming Saturday is Hoover Day, celebrating the founding of Dodge City in 1872. As part of the celebration at Boot Hill Museum, we will be performing at 4 p.m. in the Varieties Theater this Saturday. There is also an ice cream social for you all to enjoy while you're there. We sure hope that you can make it. And now we close tonight's concert with one of the most requested and surely most recognizable marches, Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever. Feel free to clap along as we continue to honor America through patriotic music by your Cowboy band.